Folka is probably my favorite character from Final Fantasy XII. I remember when she dropped her wallet and that led to the world being saved somehow. Folka's Trustmaster reward is not her Super Trustmaster reward. Her Super Trustmaster reward hasn't been buffed, but the MP and Spirit is still good. The passive buffs are also nice as well. On to her active abilities. Folka's Neo Vision Awakening gives her Flood and Enwatera. Flood can be upgraded to stage 3, while Enwatera lets her compete with, Conch. Water has actually been buffed, so now it's a tool to fill her limit burst gauge with a quadruple cast. Watera, Waterga, and Waterja can all be upgraded to stage 3. The white magic hasn't been touched at all, but Folka's kit is pretty strong, so this isn't really an issue. As for her active abilities, she hasn't really gained anything astounding, but some abilities did get buffs. Her kit's also still pretty solid, so it's well worth talking about. Sobering Waters and Flowing Waters will cover status ailments, breaks, stop, and charm immunity, and can be awakened further, though the additional effects are pretty minor. Deep Circle boosts your team's water resistance. Magic Healing takes a bit of focus limit burst to restore one ally's MP. Blue Mirage can strengthen the damage modifier of various water spells. Serpent Guard can grant a 75% physical mitigation buff and restore HP. Cerulean Shell can do the same but magic. Ancient Aquarium requires a portion of focus limit burst gauge, but provides the general mitigation buff. It does have a more unbalanced cooldown though, and can't be used at the start of the fight. Teardrop is a weaker version of Magic Healing, but it does affect your entire party rather than a single ally. Passives. But for Trustmaster reward or Super Trustmaster reward equip, Folka gains status ailment immunity and other small boosts. She hasn't particularly gained much in terms of passives, but the things she did gain are potent. Benevolent Water Drop will automatically restore 200 MP for your team every turn, while Water Priestess's Affection is a normal attack heal. At EX plus 2 she gets Warring Spirit. At EX plus 3 she gets 500 magic. Let's look at her Limit Burst. It hasn't been buffed, but it's still pretty strong, fully restoring your team's HP, removing status ailments, breaks, stop, and charm, and boosting your team's water resistance. Time to change forms. Folka's Brave Shift has a 3-turn duration and a 2-turn cooldown. Onto her active abilities. She's lost her white magic spells in this form, and most of her support abilities for that matter. She did gain some stuff in return though. True Mind Blast deals non-elemental magic damage that Chains of Bolting Strike and can inflict silence and confusion, but unfortunately you can't imbue it. Forbidden Arts will enable 2 abilities. The first, True Elemental Power, will boost your team's stats by 300%, their elemental resistance by 80%, and gives them a 70% magic mitigation buff. The second, True Aqua Prison, deals water damage at Chains of Chaos Wave, inflicts an 80% full break, and stop. So I assume you use this most often in Arena. Forbidden Arts also lets Folka quadruple cast, boosts her magic by 300%, and fills her limit burst gauge. Passives. In response to turning into a damage dealer, she's received a lot of offensive-oriented passives. She's gained 4 strong killer buffs, meets half the capped limit burst damage, and retains the big limit burst regen from her base form. She prefers to carry a single weapon, meaning half the cap to the chain limit boost. She can also absorb water damage, which is pretty cool. Lastly, her elemental resistance has went from lots of water to a bit more spread out. Let's look at her limit burst. It inflicts an 84% defense and spirit break, lowers water resistance by 130%, and then deals water magic damage. Time to make a damage rotation. On turn 1, do something to give her a few limit burst crystals. Then, cast Enwatera and Blue Mirage on herself. If you can't, you have to stagger her rotation. On turn 2, activate her Brave Shift. Cast Forbidden Arts, and double cast Flood. On turn 3, use her Limit Burst. On turn 4, quadruple cast Flood. On turn 5, you switch back, so spend that turn supporting and repeat the rotation from there. So, EX2? EX plus 2 can speed up her rotation a bit, and give you Limit Burst crystals to use some of her better abilities. Hopefully you don't need those at the start of the fight, but I mean if you do, you may as well use them. EX plus 3 gives her 500 magic, which isn't too useful in her base form, but her Brave Shift will obviously appreciate it. So how good is Folka? As a supporter, as strong as always. Her support is clearly more oriented towards healing rather than damage, but the fact remains that field units cover as many aspects as Folka. Unfortunately, though they did buff some values on her abilities like recovery or mitigation, she's still stuck with a double cast, so as a result, she's ultimately slower than her Neo Vision competitors. As for her magic damage form, it's decent, which doesn't really mean anything good for a Neo Vision Awakened unit. While her damage modifiers are certainly strong for a Neo unit and definitely better than Naren, she still has to compete with the Neo Vision damage dealers. Water magic might not have a lot of competition, but unfortunately Folka doesn't win in that tight niche. However, as she is a Flood user, you could actually empower her further by pairing her with Sakura Blue. And if you're crazy, you can go ahead and give her his Trustmaster reward and Super Trustmaster reward too. Though of course that's heavily reliant on having that one off-banner Neovision unit. Ultimately, Folka is a fine unit, a strong base support form, and a decent damage dealer. Though, well, her damage is locked to water, so that might not always be great. Thanks for watching, and if you liked this video, leave a like and subscribe. Comment below how far you can take Folka. I'm actually one Folka away from EX +3.